So in the last video, I showed the Twitter reactions to the YouTuber In Praise of Shadow's horrible video on another YouTuber, Wendigoon. And as a reaction to the criticism levied against his video, In Praise of Shadows went on Twitter to say, "A thread about me the last few days. Many people have said their very fair criticism of me and my work, that I did not appropriately portray people, and I would like to address that." Now before we read the complete thread, there are some responses to particular parts of it, like Clint, who responded to the first tweet by saying, "I didn't read all this, but have you ever considered getting a job? Also, lay off the seed oils." Jessica Starling says, "You don't owe any of these slime bags an apology, and the hate you were getting over this only proves you were correct in the first place." The next tweet In Praise of Shadows thread says, "To Brandon, I do need to apologize to you for two things. The first, you were right. It was wrong of me to use that picture. I included it to show that you and Wendigoon had a closeness. There are other images I could have used to demonstrate that. For that, for what it is worth, I genuinely am sorry." Decentricity responds, "Yeah, I never unsubscribe to horror YouTubers because even at their worst, they are usually still entertaining. I unsubscribed to you today because you were cringe." Ruben Tatillo says, "You are a genuinely bad person, but I believe that you don't believe that. So susceptible to social pressures. Malleable. Weak-willed." Brandon Buckingham himself quote tweets Praise of Shadows with these clips from his video and says, "I forgive you for thoughtlessly defaming me, but claiming all white people in Deep Appalachia should be assumed to be racist and saying Wendigoon should not be welcomed in public because of his assumed beliefs really shows how hateful and insane you are."
Deep Appalachia is very white country, and for the most part, is exceptionally racist. Genuinely in this part of the country, you have to assume that any white person you meet is racist unless they show you otherwise. I care deeply about horror, and everything that he does has demonstrated so far in his career that he should not be welcomed in our spaces, or even, just in public in general.
Brandon continues tweeting when he says, "This guy shamefully cut these segments from his video, but don't worry, I have the full VODs downloaded, and will be posting a second channel video going over everything soon." Smaggledaggle says, "He also said that Wendigoon isn't Native American point blank. It's so fucking funny." Willie Mac Show says, "He actually eats glue sticks." Wavy Websurf says, "Bro has a dark frequency." Hanoku Notism says, "I am praying this kicks off the snowball to get everyone to realize how fucking stupid bread tubers are." Weekend Warrior quote tweets Brandon and says, "This video is great actually because it shows how unhinged and unaware these bread tubers are. These people are telling everyone who disagrees with them to touch grass, laughing my fucking ass off." Oompaville says, "Imagine shitting on someone for the most systematically forgotten and impoverished people in America and thinking you are virtuous and moral because they happen to be white. Then getting called out and saying, 'You guys know my heart was in the right place.'" At Praise of Shadows is a picturesque example of true bigotry masquerading as entitled tortured genius that operates with empathy, nuance, and compassion above all else. There are so many of these people. It's so fucked up how lost some smart people are. Artsy Sabs responds by saying, "Can I ask for some positivity of the area? Where would you say is the prettiest place in Appalachia, nature-wise? I'm sure there's some beautiful scenic areas." Oompaville responds, "I love Skyline Drive." Brandon says, "Everything he says is smarmy and disingenuous. He thinks he is morally righteous for believing the majority of America are pieces of crap for not holding his exact political views, yet somehow believes he is the pinnacle of kindness and inclusivity." Jubba says, "Truly a hateful person, and the worst thing is he isn't even aware of it. In his mind, he's the well-adjusted and well-behaved one with a level head here." Anyways, let's go all the way back to In Praise of Shadows' original thread, continuing off with listing his apologies. In this next tweet he says, "The second is I did not do my due diligence when looking into allegations against you. To be honest, I saw pictures of you with Turkey Tom, with Donut Operator, with Wendigoon, with Brandon Herrera, and often with a gun in your hand. I wrote you off. I did not feel you were worth my time, and that was a result of the company you keep. Ultimately, that is a failing on me though, in how I presented that. You using homophobic language to me though and calling me a low testosterone freak does not change my opinions about you. My base thoughts remain the same, even though I should have said them differently, and not let that cloud my writing." Brandon Buckingham quote tweets him and says, "After spreading false accusations that I threatened to rape someone, this guy is now claiming I am homophobic because I said he seems like he has low testosterone. You are such a fucking victim. I watched your entire video, and will be making a detailed response. Enjoy your month off. I had no idea you were homosexual. I was calling you a low testosterone freak for being a miserable, moody asshole who basically baselessly slandered me in an attempt to demonize a close friend of mine. You literally said Wendigoon should be banned from public spaces. Design59 responds by saying, "We have been long overdue for one of your response video exposés, and he just delivered the content to you on a silver platter." Continuing on with Praise of Shadow's thread, his next tweet says, "To Mudahar, your thumbnail art was transphobic. I have nothing else to say to that." Mudahar quote tweets him and says, "Gonna back that claim up? What about painting me up as a Tate fan when I wasn't? It's alright. I can't expect you to be good faith about anyone you've already perceived as being a monster. Wish you the best and a successful future." And if you want to know about why people are calling Mudahar transphobic, I have a video on that entire situation that you can check out after this one. But moving on to the responses to Mudahar's tweet, Jay Silic says, "It's telling that he preemptively cuts off any possible discussion on this specific topic when he's willing to engage with all of the other criticism, at least superficially. Sad." Kate Moth says, "Just a Worm is a known transphobic artist from Kiwi Farms. You're being an absolute joke right now." Brianna Wu says, "It was in no way transphobic." Memology101 says, "And you still think these motherfuckers act or will ever act in good faith." Chug42 quote tweets Muda and says, "Portraying a horrible person as ugly is fine actually." Nicholas Diorio quote tweets Praise of Shadows talking about Mudahar and says, "Mudahar, your thumbnail was transphobic. I will not elaborate." Talkie the Sponge responds to Nick by saying, "Like, why die on that hill?" Nick responds, "He makes like $6 a month. He can afford it." Dojangles says, "Video essayist who will not elaborate." Continuing with In Praise of Shadows thread, he says, "I always tried to do my best. I dropped the ball here in how I presented this. My heart was in the right place. I try to live my life with integrity. If you have watched me for a long time, I hope you know this. I will always believe in trying to do the right thing, and standing up to things that I do not believe in. I was overcome with anger because I think it is incredibly dangerous that there is a man in horror that you cannot criticize without being called an F-slur for days on end. I think that is a very serious issue, but I did not let that anger at this affect my overall quality in the presentation of these events. I still think that is dangerous. I still think it should be talked about, but I should have worked at this to make my thoughts more clear and professional. I also think that it is telling that the bulk of what I said has not actually been addressed at all, and that my many criticisms were instead about details that I got wrong, such as the nature of Brandon's work. I feel it is important to note, even if I was off in some details, mentally I have grown very tired of conservatives picking apart my work for 2 years. I am worn down. I let my emotions get the best of me here, but the core idea in this needed to be addressed. But this was beneath me. That was a product that began with The Hills Have Eyes ultimately. I made the video to say that even if Wendigoon did not harbor hate, that his base was made of it, and that he was comfortable making money from that. And I think that point stands true, and has now been proven, and it is now time to end this. Today, I will be taking that section down from my video. I will be gone for a month while I recharge and work on projects at a slower pace. I thought this was important to talk about. I still do, but the way I went about it was beneath the normal standard that I hold to myself. As to my audience, I apologize for that. If you felt like that you have been mischaracterized, that was not my intention, and I genuinely am sorry. There are ways to talk about this that could have been more professional, and as with anything in life, I'll use this to learn and always do better. I care so much about horror. It is my life, and I grew tired and scared of seeing hate growing on the fringe of something I care so deeply about. Horror is about kindness. Horror is about love. Until next time, Zane. Anyway, I quote tweet the part of his thread where he said he's removed the Wendigoon part from his video with the Wendigoon part from his video, stating that it is an archive. A lot of people saw his critiques about Wendigoon through this archive and replied to my tweet giving their thoughts on what he said. Like Hawk and Load, who responded by saying, "The penis envy happening here is wild." Meme Bastard says, "This is 35 minutes of unhinged lunacy. Trust me, as an unhinged maniac, I know what it looks like." Ratboy says, "In the first 4 minutes, this dude just says things about Wendigoon and then provides no evidence. Cryptics Enthusiast quote tweets my archive and says, "In praise of Shadow's whole rant here sounds like the same schizo posting you'll see from anyone saying, people who aren't ideological clones of me are Nazis." Undead Skelly quote tweets the archive and says, "Why did a video about horror movies have a segment about a YouTuber anyway?" Koi Clone responds, "The simple answer is clout." To which Undead Skelly responds, "Sure, but like, did he have any logic in the video for it? Or does it just go there?" Koi Clone responds, "Breadtubers are obsessed with interpreting art correctly. He views Wendigoon, who is known for talking about horror, as a racist hick who pals around with conservatives, and thus is unable to properly understand it, and should be ostracized in the community." Here for Nothing tweets out, "Twitter drama becomes less serious day by day. Cause how the fuck am I gonna see countless tweets talking about Wendigoon being friends with whoever the fuck hates pedos and people assuming he's a racist or whatever, and then just see this fucking tweet from him?" And then they show a Wendigoon tweet from 3 days prior where he says, "I'm mad at my dog right now, so here's a picture of him on a glue trap." And then he shows a picture of a glue trap with his dog photoshopped on top. Cad says, "The funniest thing is that he posted this because he has been eating out of the same peanut butter jar as the dog, laughing my ass off." Marzia says, "It's so hard to take Wendigoon hate mob seriously if you've just seen his content and know what he's about. Like, even if you are not a seasoned fan who comes back for each video. It doesn't take a degree in theoretical physics to figure out why people attempt and fail to cancel him." Captain Ahab says, "Silly maxing is the future. Once your opponents stop taking it seriously, you lose." Cayuga's Top Gal shows that In Praise of Shadows privated his Twitter account and captions it by saying, "That breadtuber who shit-talked Wendigoon was bullied into privating, laughing my ass off." Mushi Mushimon says, "With all the craziness going on this week, I hadn't really noticed someone trying to cancel Wendigoon and his friends. What a load of crap, by the way. None of them are bad people, and their videos are entertaining. Comes off as bitter, jealousy-driven ass pain." Mudahar responds to Mushi's tweet by saying, "No, I'm pretty bad." Brandon Buckingham responds by saying, "I'm dropping a video about it tomorrow. Was gonna put it on my second channel, but the IPOS guy's video was so delusional and hilarious, I figured I'd give as many people as possible a laugh and put it on my main." Mushi responds, "It was the weirdest attack I've seen in a long time. He literally had nothing of substance, and it came off as a really mad guy with a bone to pick wanting clout for taking down people." Doc Strangelove responds to Mushi by saying, "Yeah, virtually all of what that guy accused Wendigoon of being, he got shown for being the exact thing. His entire basis of accusations against Wendigoon were 'trust me bro' and 'I got a feeling.'" So once In Praise of Shadows privated his Twitter, he stopped talking about the situation over there, and instead made another statement on his Patreon that was screenshotted by Chris the Narc and shared on his Twitter with the caption, "In Praise of Shadows made a Patreon post about the Wendigoon video. He thought he was doing good. Making shit up about people, lol." The post is titled "About the Video" and says, "Hey everyone, sorry for not saying anything sooner. I wanted to take a few days to clear my head and genuinely listen to the conversation going on around this video before I addressed it. Flat out, I let my emotions get the best of me here. This wasn't my best work, and this wasn't my best self. This was made out of anger, and I should never lower myself to do that. And before I say anything, I should say sorry to you for engaging myself this way. I will not be taking on another project like this again. You know me as being a media analysis channel, and that is what I should be. I should promote love and horror through providing a positive example. I thought that I was doing good here, and I think to an extent I did do some good, but I could have gone about it differently. This was not perfect, and needed more time in the oven, pure and simple, and that was totally on me. The past few years have been a very dark time for me. The slow, gradual decline in the channel algorithmically, following The Hills Have Eyes, had built a genuine sadness that has followed me a lot. The realities of the situation meant I had to make a new video every month or so, and under those circumstances, there would be times where I would not be satisfied with my work, but still had to publish a video because it'd be broke if I didn't. And after my confrontation with Wendigoon's fans late last year calling me a faggot so many times, I built up such an anger at how I had been treated that I decided that I wanted to do a video about my personal situation mixed with the deep growing conservative nature within certain sections of horror. I thought this was a good idea. I thought that it would promote a conversation that needed to be had. I thought and still do think that his level of social power is dangerous, but my video should have probably just focused on the sections related to The Hills Have Eyes, and I do see that now. On the sections related to Wendigoon's cultural appropriation, I think in particular I could have done better. I know that it is a very tricky thing to talk about the topics of gender, women, race, and the history of these concepts as a white dude on the internet, and I always try to do my best there in my work and life. I dropped the ball here in some of my language and logic, and criticism of me on this point is 100% fair. I really hope that you can see that I thought that this was important to talk about, and that I thought I was doing good, which is always my goal. I'm sorry to you again that I did not represent myself with the professionalism and standards that I normally hold myself to as a person, and that you deserve as my audience. I will be around for you to ask me any questions or give me any feedback that you would like to provide. Thank you for understanding. There genuinely is not anything that I could say that could actually represent my real feelings of gratitude towards you all. Just really, thank you for everything. Zane. Chris the Narc then shares another post that Shadows made about this time on his YouTube community tab, and captions it by saying, he put out a community post saying he has received harassment. I do not condone it, but you kinda invoke karma when you straight misreport or lie about people. Praise of Shadows community post says, one last quick note. I have already publicly addressed this on Twitter and Patreon, but I thought I would do one community note before I left. I decided it is best at the moment to take down the entire bad conservative horror video. It does not represent me, and who I wish to be as a person or a creator. I admit that I messed up pretty badly in my delivery, and made a lot of mistakes, and I really am sorry for that. If I could do it again, I obviously would have done everything differently. This kind of content is not my forte, and I have avoided it in the past because of that. After being harassed in December by Wendigoon fans, and called slurs dozens of times, I was deeply upset over how I had been treated, and my perception of him not calling off the attack. I acted out of hurt, and acted in a way uncharacteristic of myself. Some people have described the video as being very raw, but with that comes an element of being underbaked. I didn't do the level of research I should and normally would have done. I messed up there, and fully acknowledge that in every way, so I am taking it down. At the same time, I do not believe the harassment I have received these past few days has been called for based on what I have done. Any criticism of my work is fair and I accept, welcome, and own that. We are all measured by our words and our actions, but I do think it is dangerous that these creators do not tweet about or acknowledge the obvious situation at play. I will be fine. This is the last thing I'll say before I log off for a while. I want to reevaluate what I want my work to be, how I want to stand as a positive force within horror, and how to be my best self. I hope you will believe in me and my work again when I return. Again, for my mistakes in this video, I am sorry. I'll be back again a stronger and better self, both for me and for you. Zane. Mango responds by saying, why does he think Wendigoon is dangerous? Bro is probably one of the least dangerous YouTubers on the face of the earth. Laughing my fucking ass off. What is he so scared of? I don't get it at all. Dread Anon says, falsely accuses someone of being a rapist. I thought I was doing hecking gooderino. Questionable. Willie Macho quote tweets Chris and says, he also deleted his YouTube video and made a community post, still acting like a victim. Chris responds, no fucking way, lol. He then follows up his tweet by saying, he deleted the post. Dude is so fake with this damage control shit, showing a screenshot proving that he did indeed delete that post. But that doesn't mean he's done making posts, as he has now made some about the situation on Discord. Chris the Narc also tweets this out and says, you know it's bad when you were asking your Discord if you can come back from a fuck up this big, lol. He then shows the Discord posts that start out with Zane saying, real talk, do y'all think I can come back from this? Pretty sad tonight, to be fully honest. If I just start back with my normal kind of work, do you all think things will be fine in the long run? Yeah, I knew this was gonna get rough, but it's harder than I anticipated. The rest of the year is supposed to be a lot of fun. I have even canceled 2 videos in the schedule to replace them with more on-brand ideas. I just couldn't live with myself if I prevented my partner from having a good life because of my decisions. That's what has been on my mind the most here. I just hope that when I come back, things will be well received. I've decided to leave Twitter completely. A lot of YouTubers have, and I made the mistake of staying there when they took their exit. Oh yeah, nobody in the video has actually referred refuted any of what I said, lol. They only point out small individual things that are wrong, but don't actually go so far as to say what I said wasn't right. Chris reacts to this message by saying, oof. He then captions the next Discord post by saying, at least he likes the art. Too bad he called Worm's art transphobic, even though it was just art to make Keffels look ugly, like this artwork here. But you know, transphobia or whatever. He then shows the Discord message from Zane that says, unrelated to this, but I wanted to say that despite everything that's been going on being pretty brutal on Twitter, and even though it was supposed to be very mean and hurt my feelings, I do actually kind of love this drawing of me that's been going around. I think it's pretty funny. Chris then shows one more Discord message and comments on it by saying, the miscalculation on your part is wild. The Discord message from Zane says, I hope so. I always knew I would be hated by some, but I really didn't think this could be a career-ending move. Sensitive Society responds to all of this by saying, I'ma be honest, I don't feel bad for him at all. Wavy Websurf shows a picture of In Praise of Shadows from his exposed video on Wendigoon and captions it by saying, bro thought he cooked. Brandon Buckingham responds, he's about to have a rough week. Dojangles says, he thought he was doing something when he hit publish. Turkey Tom also posts a picture of In Praise of Shadows from his video and captions it by saying, genuinely retarded person, did zero research, comes across like a complete schizo. I am making a video. Nicholas Diorio says, that's too nice of a statement, laughing my ass off. Brandon Buckingham responds, this guy self-owned so hard I can't believe it's real. Recording my video about him tonight. Mudar tweets about the situation when he says, with this recent situation regarding In Siege of Shadows, given he's removed his video and offered apologies, I really do wish the best for him in his future endeavors. I do not want any harassment to this person and I genuinely hope he rebounds. I've made my own mistakes in life, everyone has, and I believe everyone has the capacity to bounce back and learn. I really hope he gets his mental health in order as he aims to, and returns to YouTube with the aims of producing the content he aims to. I have no ill feelings, and genuinely want to see this person succeed. Humans make mistakes. They can also learn from them too. Smaggledaggle responds by saying, you are still a transphobic content creator who is married to a neo-Nazi. I'm smart cause I read r/YouTube drama. Nick Diorio responds by saying, nah, fuck him. More people should tear into the video. He gave a long-ass non-apology Twitter thread, put out a shitty community post, and deleted it. He's sitting in his Discord crying right now, lol, and I guarantee he's learned nothing. All he's focused on is hiding. When he comes out and admits the whole concept for the segment is complete horseshit, then I can see the call to leave him alone. Until then, he's just empowering the freaks who perpetuate these false allegations on you guys daily. Owl responds by saying, I agree with both. You said the shit, slapped the shit, and doubled down. More than enough for people to criticize every second of his words. But I'm glad to see Muda and Wendigoon forgiving him, showing that they are bigger men than the man-child. Nick responds, yeah, I don't fault either of them for avoiding investing more time into this and walking away. I just see BreadTuber guy as the personification of the freaks who call Muda's wife a Nazi, or act like Turkey Thomas starting the Third Reich. Just general disgust. And that's about it for the discussion about this on Twitter so far, but of course if there's any more developments I'll be sure to let you guys know on this channel, so don't forget to subscribe with notifications on. If you want to hear my thoughts on the Praise of Shadows video, I have my reaction to it uploaded on my other channel Mayo Monkey, which you can click in the end card of this video. Don't forget to share your own opinions in the comment section below, as I love to read them. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.